Ahoy and welcome to this week's video where I am not working on my boat. I'm working on somebody else's. Truth be told, I've run out of money to work on my boat, so I'm doing other stuff while I can. So this week I want to talk to you about hull anodes because that is what I'm installing. I'm here on Sarah's boat, who is a friend out of the office, and she's just had a survey done by Jez, and it's picked up on one key thing, which is that the prop is suffering from some pitting and loss or dezincification. So what I'm going to do is show you what that looks like, talk about hull anodes and fit one basically. So yeah, let's have a look at the prop. Un prop. So as you can see here, when this was, if I get it into the sunlight maybe, no, that can't work. When this was worn away a little bit, you see how this section here is slightly pinker? That's because all of the zinc has come out of the bronze, and that has led to these chips and things on the edge, the leading edge of the prop. So what happens is when it dezincifies, it becomes weaker. As the prop is spinning, you get cavitation along this leading edge, and that leads to little bits coming out and knackering. So why do we get dezincification? Well, seawater is an electrolyte. That means it allows the flow of electrons between metals. So anytime you have two dissimilar metals, they basically create a battery with an anode and a cathode. Anodes lose material, cathodes gain material. So if you have a bronze prop like this, which contains an alloy of all different things, one of which is zinc, I believe, you might correct me on some of this, it's effectively a battery within itself. And when it is in an electrolyte, it allows those free movement of electrons, which dissolves the anode and material that I'm doing a stupid, aren't I? It dissolves the material which is the anode. So that is why we add anodes onto props and other materials. If we have a look here, you can see that this actually has a shaft anode on it. So hull anodes are usually for vessels that don't have shaft anodes. However, this is quite a small shaft anode for the size of the prop. So because there isn't a lot of material here, this will get eaten away reasonably quickly, which means if you're only being lifted out once a year, it could actually be eaten away, and that's probably what's led to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another larger anode onto the boat, and there are some key things that we need to look out for. First and foremost, the anode that we put on must be able to see the thing that it is protecting. I.e., there's no point putting an anode all the way at the front of the boat and expecting it to protect this all the way at the back. The closer they are, the better, because those electrons have got to travel through the electrolyte in order to protect it and in order for it to become the anode. So what I intend to do is get one of the anodes as close to down here as I can and as close to the prop as I can. The closer they are, the better they are. And then that anode then needs electrical continuity between the anode and the thing that it is protecting, which is the prop and the shaft. Therefore, we must have a wire that goes from this and mounts to the engine. And one thing to be aware of is if this is attached with a flexible coupling, there must be a wire across the coupling so that the prop and shaft is electrically connected to the engine. That's effectively the basics of what we're doing. So we'll go through and we'll test all that and we'll do all that. But first of all, I'll show you the actual hull anode. Et voila, un hull anode. Here it is. You have these studs. This flat plate goes against the hull, so the hull will be there. The anode will affix to here, and then we electrically attach the rest of the system to this inside of the stud. We also have this before it blows away, which is a little pad that goes behind the thing to protect the hull. Boom! So first things first, what we actually need to do is have a look at the placement inside of the boat to make sure that we can actually get to everything and it's going to be okay. So I'm going to hop up onto the boat, have a look in the cockpit locker and see if we can't figure something out and see just how close we can get it. So we do have a reference point, which is this cockpit drain. If I can find that cockpit drain inside of the boat, I can use that as a reference to where else I can put things. And then unfortunately, I'm going to have to drill a hole in somebody's boat. In fact, 2 holes in somebody's boat, which I don't like the idea of, but well, I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, let's get up on the boat, have a look around. All right, I'm up in the cockpit, and straight away, naturally, it's a boat, we have an issue, and that is that we can't really get access. I want it to be here somewhere like there, but obviously all this is built in and I can't get down. There is space under here to maybe get down, but what I do see just here, you may not see it very well, is a fuel filter. Now that fuel filter must get changed occasionally, which means there must be some better access to it, because it would be such a faff to do it from here. So effectively I need to do some more digging. I want to get around there somewhere. Is that the cockpit drain? I don't know, I need to do some rooting around and then we'll have a look. There's got to be better access than this. Alright, I've come inside the boat, and I think actually what I need to do is to get under here, which is one of the quarter berths. So I think rather than putting it, I thought it was going to be easier to put it on the port side because I could get in through the locker, but I think I actually might get better access to the hull through the starboard side, through the berth. With that little circle of light there, it looks like there's a hatch at the end that maybe I can get through. So yeah, I'm basically going to army crawl like a fat little worm down there and see what the hell's going on. Oh, Sarah, it's a good job I like you. As suspected, that was not graceful. It made quite a good berth, this, if you went in legs first. But yeah, let's have a spin around and have a look. So I've removed the panel, and you can see the underside of the cockpit there, the electrics, the cockpit drains, and down here I can get good access to the hull. I think that's the fuel tank in there, and various other bits. You can see the rudder post. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to put the anode somewhere here, just behind this bulkhead. That shouldn't be an issue. I'm going to go back outside and double check that side of the hull, just in case there's a pad there or something, but I don't think there is. And that should be a decent enough place to put it. Let's have a look what's around there. Fuel tank, something stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, after verifying that I'm in kind of the right position, I drilled a little pilot hole through from the inside. There's nothing on the inside that I can hit with the big drill bit, so what I'm going to do is drill the first one, offer up the anode, get it in sort of a position, work out the thing for the second one, and then yeah, should be good. Not too close to this, nice and close to the prop. Parfait in theory. Perfect. So now what I need to do is remove the antifoul from where these are going to bond to the hull, where the square plate's going to go. Obviously antifoul is made to be ablative, so that's going to come off, So if I bond to that, then water can quite easily get up the inside of it and not create a proper seal. So I'm going to cut out anti-foul around here, scrape all that back, clean up the surface, ready for the things to bond. And hopefully that should go well, but we'll see. Rightio, in theory these are all scraped off and done. I'm just going to sand them down a touch more, then I'll get some isopropyl alcohol on them. But what they are for is so that when these go in, the sealant under the bond, under the square, can make a bond directly to the hull instead of to the anti-foul. So that's all the size they need to be. And then once these are on and I've checked continuity, I'll anti-foul around this with just some spare stuff from the yard or whatever, and that will be that. I may actually need some help to put them on. I might need somebody inside the boat and somebody outside. No doubt I'll be the one inside doing the big fat worm thing, but we'll see. So yeah, really now all I need to do is seal them up and get them on. Et voila! It turns out that I didn't need any help because there was enough stiction on the Sikaflex to keep them there while I went inside. So I put a nut on the back, but I haven't tightened it all the way yet. I've left it with quite a bit of gap behind it. So the reason that I've done that is basically if I tighten that all the way up now, it's going to squeeze the sealant out and then it's going to end up metal on hull. And then you just got to hope that there's enough sealant in there to fill any gaps. So what I'm going to do is leave a millimetre or so of sealant between the metal and the hull, and then when that cures I can then put a couple of turns on the nut inside. I'll seal the inside and put some thread lock on, but I can put a couple more turns on the inside after that solid gasket has formed, put pressure onto it, and that will create well, a gasket basically between the metal and the hull rather than the metal touching the hull. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. So yeah, basically I'm going to leave this now for 24 hours or so to cure. The boat's not going in for 2-3 days. Today's Tuesday, so Thursday morning I'll come back and attach the anode to the outside, do the inside, attach the anode. But yeah, that is basically all I can do for today. So snap to a couple of days in the future. What pow! Welcome to the future, which is now technically the past, but it's now for me. Yeah, so it's a couple of days later. I've allowed the doodad to cure and they're sat quite nicely. It's focus, you. Sat quite nicely. They're nice and solid. I've not even tightened up the backs yet, but that's a good seal around there. So I'm going to go inside now, tighten up the nuts on the back to just compress this sealant ever so slightly. Don't want to over tighten it and crack the sealant or anything, even though it is basically rubbery. But yeah, I'm going to put the last few turns on these to compress it, make sure they're absolutely well sealed. Focus. Stick the big per anode on. Unfortunately I don't have time to wire up the insides just yet because it's 8 AM and I'm going to the boat show at 9 AM. So effectively I'll get the outside work done, crawl back inside and do the inside work, but I don't know when that'll be. It might be later today. Either I'll do it later today and film it because I need to get this video uploaded, or if I don't do it later today, I'll basically just take a wire from the inside of one of these studs, take it over to the engine mount or another place on the engine and ground it to that, and then check continuity between these studs, which I can measure from the inside, and the propeller shaft. It's no good checking it between the engine because you may have a coupler on there, that R&D style flexi coupler on there that doesn't allow electricity to flow between. So that's what I'm doing. You'll either see that or you won't. If you don't, I apologize, but I need to do this video. If you do, then that's happening now. It's not happening now, is it? Because I've got to finish this pair anode. It'll happen later. This time thing is difficult. Yeah, I actually completely forgot to film it after I put the anode on, but I did manage to remember just before it went in the water, which is this footage here. So as you can see, The pair anode is now on and fastened to the studs, and at some point in the future when I can get back on the board, the boat, I'm going to connect that wire from there to the engine. And that will mean that, so everything, every type of metal is can be seen on a scale of, I can't remember what it's called. I'll Google it and put it here. But there's a scale, so which metals are more reactive than the others. So as long as you have your anode as the more reactive, or the one further up or down the scale than the thing you're protecting, then it will always eat the anode instead of the thing that you're protecting. I'm not good at explaining this stuff. There's science and things. PBO do great articles about it, or go to the Macduff website or something. But yeah, that's about it for this week's video. I was at the boat show the last few days with my friend Matt, who kindly agreed to do some filming for me. So I've got a few little videos coming up, some great interviews with a chap called Gunnar, who's doing the Golden Globe race next year in a beautiful, and I mean beautiful, Hans Christian 34, which is just a stunning boat. So yeah, look, really watch that interview because he's such a nice chap. And I'll be showing you some other things that I found interesting from the show, including a £100 giveaway from Ardent Training. Charlie and Ed and other Charlie and Julian. I'm so bad at things, especially names. So they've agreed to give £100 out to one of you guys. So that's pretty cool. Right, I'm done for the week. I'm actually going to have a little nap while this video is uploading. So there's a little peek behind the curtain of what I do with my life. I'm back in work tomorrow for 10 days straight. 7 of which are 12-hour shifts overnight, so that'll be fun. Anywho, I'm waffling. See you later.